Matt Glover Productions.
Chapter 7, Section 5, Queries by Matt Glover. Queries Introduction. A query is a way of selecting only the records in a database that match certain criteria. Some examples may include all students who achieve over 90% on the last test, or maybe all results from student A which are less than 40%. All products that have less than 10 items in stock could be another example, or maybe all customers whose last purchase was over 5 months ago. Queries are essential for accessing only the required information from a database, and it's really useful for large databases that may have like thousands of records, because searching through it manually would be really slow and tiresome, and it would just be like a waste of time, honestly. Queries may have simple criteria like book language is English, or they can use mathematical operators like greater than or less than to compare values. Boolean operators such as and, or, and not are used to combine criteria. And some examples may include like language is English or Spanish, or language is not English, or language is Italian and author is Levi. How to create queries. When using a graphical database program such as Microsoft Access, queries are normally created by selecting the fields to be displayed and typing criteria for fields in the appropriate space. And queries are created automatically by entering criteria for more than one field, while OR queries are created by listing several criteria for one field. And as you can see in the picture below, this is a database of books, and the query was books over 100 pages, and then it brought up the results for the books that are over 100 pages, as you can see from the pop-up window. The criteria for a field might not be known at the time a query is designed. For example, we might need a query to find all the books written by a certain author, but we don't know which author until a customer in the bookshop decides which one they want to look up. One inefficient method for this would be to create separate queries for each author. So, for example, all books by Levi, all books by Jones, and so on and so forth. But this is time-consuming and very error-prone. It would require a lot of queries plus a new query every time an author releases a new book, so it would be very repetitive and useless. So there's definitely a better alternative that can be sought out. Parameter queries. The much better approach to the inefficient method that I discussed before is parameter queries, which prompt the user for a value when the query is run. The data entered by the user is used as the criteria for that field, so in this case it'd be the author's name. Parameter queries allow criteria to be specified at runtime rather than design time, allowing more flexibility. So as you can see below in this figure, it's a parametric query in Microsoft Access, and the way that you specify the criteria is by using square brackets, by typing them, and then you'd input the precise criteria into a dialog box when the query is run, and that's how you create a parameter query. Instead of typing a value or expression into the criteria cell, the user types some text enclosed in square brackets, which you can see to the right. These are square brackets. The text you type will appear as a prompt on a dialog box, so you might want it to be in the form of a question to the user. So in this example below, the user would be prompted to type the name of the town when they run the query, and the text the user types in will be used as the criteria for that specific field, so the dialog box looks like this as below, as you can see in the picture. And if the user were to type in Paris, then this multiple parameters. You can enter a parameter almost anywhere you could place a piece of text, number, or date in a regular criterion. For example, supposing you wanted the query to prompt the user for 2 dates to define a date range. Instead of typing the actual beginning and end dates into the criteria cell, you type a prompt into square brackets. The user would see 2 separate dialog boxes, each asking for a date. After entering dates, the query proceeds, inserting the dates into the appropriate places in the criteria expression. As you can see, this is what's happening in the picture in the bottom right. As you can see, there's 2 different dates, and there's 2 different parameter boxes, and that sets the beginning date and the end date. And as it says in this example, the query would display all the records which contain the dates in the range November 1st, 1998 to November 30th, 1998 in the invoice data field.
And here are the sources and credits. Creator of introduction and closing videos and PowerPoint presentation is me, Matt Glover, and then under that are the links that I use for the information presented in this PowerPoint.